This video is for pH and pOH homework help. And what we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at Interactive Notebook page 30, and this is the pH and pOH practice sheet. Okay, in the previous videos for introduction, I've given you a list of equations that you can use when calculating pH, pOH, and the concentration of both H3O plus and OH minus. We know that pH plus pOH equals 14. We have two different equations to find pH and pOH, and then we have the concentrations to equations to find the concentration of H and the concentration of OH minus. Okay, so using those, we're going to put them to work in order to answer the questions on our worksheet. Okay, so the first problem we're going to look at is we're going to look at problem number 1. Problem number 1 says, what is the pH of a 0.0235 molar HCl solution? Okay, so I have to look and I have to see, well, what is my solution and what is it asking me for? My solution is HCl, and it's asking me for pH. So let me check and see whether or not I can do that. All right, so I have HCl. Well, HCl is going to ionize into H plus and Cl minus. Since it's going to ionize into H plus, I know that it's an acid. If it's an acid, I can find the pH of it. Okay, so I know that this is going to be a 1-to-1 ratio because every 1 HCl gives me 1 H plus, and so I can plug this into my equation. So I know that pH equals negative log of the concentration of H, and according to my problem, my concentration of H is 0.0235, so I'm going to say negative log of 0.0235 molar HCl. I'm going to plug that into my calculator, and so I have 0.0235, and I'm going to take the log of that and then put the negative sign, and I get 1.63. 1.63. So the pH equals 1.63, which happens to be the answer on my worksheet. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Number 2 says, what is the pOH of a same solution? 0.0235 molar HCl solution. Okay, now the first way I'm going to show you how to do this is the easiest way to do it. It's the smart way to do it. But then I'm also going to show you as if we didn't know the answer from the first question. Okay, so question number 2 says, what is the pOH? All right, I'm given HCl. And so if I kind of ignore what I've done in the previous problem, and I'm given HCl, I know that HCl is going to ionize into H plus and Cl minus. I cannot get the pOH of an acid without first getting the pH. Okay? Now, I've happened to just do that, and I know that the pH of the solution is 1.63. If the pH of the solution is 1.63, then I can easily find out the pOH. I know that pH plus pOH equals 14. So, I just say 14 minus 1.63. 14 minus 1.63 gives me 12.37, so my pOH equals 12.37, which is the answer on the page. I would have to, for number 2, if I did not have the answer for number 1, I would have had to actually do all of the work for number 1, because the only thing I can get from an H concentration is pH. So I would have had to do the work, get the pH, and then subtract from 14 to get the pOH. Okay, so that's problems 1 and 2. Okay, so let's look at number 3. Number 3 says, what is the pH of a 6.5 times 10 to the negative 3 molar KOH solution? So now we're going to get to see what I was talking about. Okay, so let's see. We have KOH. All right, KOH. We know that KOH is going to ionize into K and OH minus. The only thing I can get from OH minus is going to be pOH. I have a 1-to-1 ratio. So I know that I can get the pOH. So pOH is going to be the negative log of the concentration of OH. Well, according to my problem, the concentration of OH is 6.5 times 10 to the negative 3. So 6.5 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay, so let me plug this into the calculator. 6.5 times 10 to the negative 3. I'm going to take the log of that. And the opposite, so that would be 2.19. The pOH equals 2.19. But the problem asked me for the pH. I have pOH. Well, I know that pH plus pOH equal 14. So if I do 14 minus 2.19, I will get 11.8. So the pH of the solution is 11.8. Just as a reminder, because I was given a base, I had to find the pOH first and then subtract from 14 in order to get the pH. Okay, so that gives us problems number 1, 2, and 3. Let's look and see everything else on here is actually very, very simple. You're just going to take the concentration, you're going to plug it in, and then you'll get the pH and the pOH. I hope this video has helped you understand pH and pOH. Remember that we know that pH plus pOH equals 14, and we know that the negative log of the concentration of H gives us pH, the negative log of the concentration of OH gives us pOH, and we also know now that if I'm given an acid, I have to find pH first. If I'm given a base, I have to find pOH first. Then I can turn it into pOH or pH. But acids give me pH, bases give me pOH first. That's because I have to use the concentration of what they ionize into.